All right, good morning YouTube. I'm getting ready to start this project here. I'm getting this rear anti-rock sway bar put on my 2000 Jeep TJ. And I have not seen a lot of videos on this, and probably because this is not a bolt-on deal. So this is what you get. You get the sway bar. It's like a torsion bar, a couple arms. You get the brackets. These are the threaded links for the link ends. There's more hardware associated with, and then you have some tabs that you weld onto your axle. So this does not bolt on. You have to weld, you have to grind, and you have to cut. The instructions are fairly decent. They are, I wouldn't say fairly decent, they're very good. They're online here. You've got a barcode that you scan, and it goes step by step how to do it. They're very good instructions. How to take your old one off, setup of how to put the bushings in and get the arms on the bushing and that kind of stuff. Bolting it on where you need to drill. So this part right here is the kind of the part that's a pain in the butt. So try to get that glare out of there. It tells you right here, it starts talking about a body lift. So these instructions were written early on in the TJ lineup before JKs came out, and the TJ they were using was a newer, at the time, TJ that had a 1-inch body lift and 4-inch suspension lift, and they kind of tell you that. So that's what that is. So that's what they're doing. And I don't remember the back spacing on the wheels. They said I think it was like 3, maybe 4-inch. I don't remember what the back spacing is on the wheels that they have on this Jeep. But there's a tech tip here, and the tech tip is for those of us that are not running a body lift. So that's what this Jeep is. This Jeep is a 2000 TJ. It's 23 years old. Bushings are probably wore out on the body, for all I know. And there's no body lift. I have a 4-inch lift kit, but no body lift. And I believe I have 3.5-inch backspace wheels, which I think my backspace are fine, but we'll see. And I haven't seen a lot of videos on YouTube on how to do this. So what they kind of go over here is you have to make 4 cuts to your tub. 2 of the cuts you have to do regardless. But one of the cuts is this cut here. You have a pinch weld. So the way this goes, it goes over your fuel tank, over your frame, right? And then under the body. That's how this works. Different than the factory TJ one. So the cut you have to do is right here on the pinch weld to make some room so this bar will fit, and you can rotate this bar. This bar can rotate up high enough to where it'll line up where your axle is going to be. And yeah, I haven't seen anybody do this. So I didn't film the front one because I've seen plenty of people film the front one. So I'm gonna start working on this. I'm gonna turn on my air compressor. I'm gonna get after it with a die grinder. I think that's what they show. Yeah, a little die grinder right here. And I'm gonna make that opening just like they did here, and see if that works. See if it fits. It'll be interesting because it's a tight space. It's not very roomy. Kind of difficult to get in there, especially if you're a big guy like me. They talk about some frame modifications you may have to do if your pucks are wore out. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do each step. I'm not going to film each step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do each step and then kind of bring you guys in for what the highlights were, what I ran into, and that. I'm not going to time lapse this because this is going to be kind of a daunting thing. Yeah, anyways, so that's the introductory of what we're doing today. Rear sway bar install. I took this Jeep up to Sierra Nevadas. I did hellhole trail. I flat towed it behind my black truck there. Flat tow was horrible with no rear sway bar and a front anti-rock on it. It could not control the body sway. It was literally all over the road. It was probably the worst flat towing experiences of my life. So I'm going to try to get that resolved. One of the cuts that you have to do, I didn't show that in the instructions, is you have to cut this part so that way your arms have a spot to swing. So yeah, I'm going to get after it. All right, real quick tip. The instructions have you hammer these bushings in. My suggestion is to not do that. For one, it just takes forever to do. If I'm yelling, I'm sorry, I got earplugs in. But what I find is better is kind of pressing them in with a small vise like this. It's a little easier. So you kind of get it lined up-ish. It might go a little cattywampus, but it's fine. Just back it off. Try to get it started. If it's crooked a little bit, just back it up a touch, get it down. Maybe a little more. It should pop right in. This is a lot easier way to do it. Not everybody has a vise, and you can hammer it home with one of these. You have to have one of these regardless to put it on the bar. But this is doing this with the plastic is so much easier. That's actually polyurethane, but this is easier to do. Takes less time. You could also use a press, hydraulic press, but you can see it does the job. You don't have to go through the whole dead blow hammer crap. Yeah, it mars it up a little bit, but it's fine. It'll work, right? So, little tip I ran into in the middle of doing this. Thought I would share it. So, use a vise, press it in. So another tip, you can't really read the part number through the powder coat. It's kind of difficult to see. So I just kind of looked online on the directions to kind of verify, get the focus, where the slotted bolt was, which is forward. I know that because this is a passenger side exhaust hanger. So I know that when you have the bracket and the slots forward and it's dog-legged inward, that's the passenger bracket. This is the driver's side bracket. So I put a D on the back so nobody's gonna see it, just me. Just to make it easier, since you can't read that powder coat through that powder coat. All right, I figured I would go ahead and show you how the arms go on. So you're gonna be, find my passenger side. You're gonna be tapping this over the top, down far enough to where it's 3/4 of an inch of spline showing. They tell you to grease it. I'm gonna use some anti-seize. This just protects it, keeps it from squeaking on you. I didn't do this in the front. They are noisy, so a little bit of anti-seize. There's no zert fittings where you can grease this and shit. So a little anti-seize will go a long way. Passenger side, dog leg down. For those that are worried about me hitting this on concrete, I have a plastic floor covering. Now, get it the rest of the way. Made a nice big socket. We are not quite there. We're a quarter of an inch, so we need to go farther. This is going to be a pain when it's in the Jeep on the other side. That's half an inch. Oh yeah, here. 5/8. Uh, 11/16 still. Getting that RTV or that anti-seize everywhere. We'll clean that up with a rag. Oof, a little bit more. Probably should put my glasses on. Ugh. Try not to overshoot. That's really close. And that's about it. The whole idea is you want enough spline to engage all the way into the arm. That's what you're after. And it's splines that you want showing at 3/4 of an inch. Or an inch. Alright, well, that's how you do that. So, well, changing plans. This bar will not fit if you have an old TJ with no body lift. It will not even go between the tub and the fuel tank. So, I tried to put that in, did not fit. So now, we're gonna install this rough country body lift, which I already had on hand, kind of didn't want to do. These are fairly straightforward and there's videos on that, so I'm not going to film this part. I'm just going to put the body lift on and then see where I end up at the end of the day. It's a bummer, but hey, this is what happens when you're modifying your Jeep. So on to doing this, and then when I get completed with this, I'll go ahead and get back to the sway bar. Hopefully that'll be today. All right guys, real quick. So I got the sway bar in. So on passenger side, this is kind of what it looks like. It goes kind of right here in this spot between the tank and the body, the tub. I see it going over there. Right. And on this side, kind of comes out right behind the gas filler. That used to be a backup camera, that's all that is. So yeah, now you got to drill these holes, self tappers. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You can't, I could not do this without the body lift. So I had to do the body lift. And I did not make a video of that. There's videos of that on YouTube. With the body lift, I did a motor mount lift. So I wouldn't have to worry about the fan or the shifter popping out of gear or anything. But this is what it looks like right now before you put the arms on. Yeah, gotta have that body lift on it. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Bigger tires, right? More room for bigger tires. All right, let me finish up. I'll show you the finished product. Close out this video on the sway bar. So one of the things that you have to do for the sway bar is you have to cut a notch in your tub like that. Mine's not pretty, but I'll clean it up later. Once you do that, then you can weld the tab on. That's the tab there. Kind of shitty welds, matter of practice. So, but it's glued on, so that's all I care. If I break it, I break it. I'll weld it back on. More practice. But anyways, so that's the notch. The whole idea is that you want to have room for that sway bar to swing up. I'll touch that up with some black paint, and that's that. One of the issues I ran into, maybe it's easier to see on this side. One of the issues I ran into when I was doing it is that this right here sticks out far enough to where my tires don't fit. So I had to buy 2 1.5-inch wheel spacers to space that out. Now, I said before, I don't really know what the wheel spacing is on those tires, those rims. I'll measure it out. If I had to guess, it's probably like 4 or something. So basically, you have to measure from here up. Now, let me see. Yeah, I got 4. Yeah, 4 inches of backspace. Not 3.5 like I thought. So that right there is enough of a difference, I guess. But that's that. I'll bring it back in to show you when it's all said and done after I got paint on it. But that's about all when it comes to the sway bar. I'll have to edit this video a lot. Shouldn't have the voiceover though, because I'm using my phone. Get a picture there. Now, I'm kind of curious about the tub when it comes to full flex. We'll see how that goes. I couldn't get mine any far forward than what it is. I may have to notch it or let it self-clearance. So, if it even hits, I don't even know if it'll hit. So, all right. See you guys back when I'm done cleaning it up and slapping some paint on it. All right. Real quick on this. So this is what I was talking about when it comes to needing the wheel spacers. Without the wheel spacers, I would not be able to clear down that way. It was just too tight for my bubble. And you can kind of see how much further out I'm sticking, about 1.5 inches. Looks funny now because the front ones aren't done yet. But I got those, and I'll do them. That's it, that's a sway bar installed. I probably could have got away with 1.25 inch spacers But I figured 1.5" since I'm using steel wheels, and when I go to aluminum wheels, I can't. The backspace might end up being 4.5. So it might just kind of cancel itself out. There it is. Sway bars in. Awesome. Thank you for watching. All right. Very last video of the sway bar resting on its feet. Just bad. Tires are now lined up, both spaced out. So that's it. It's all done. Now time for CR Trek. Thank you.